Randee with Realign by Randee here, ready to show you another routine. This is from the Pain-Free Revised Edition today. We are going to do the hip and pelvis routine for restriction but not hip pain. So this doesn't mean you have had to have any kind of hip pain in order to do this routine. This is very helpful for many people because a lot of the root of our problems are the restriction that's happening in our hip and pelvis, and this routine sort of addresses, again, multiple areas of the body. And one of the ways to know if you have hip restriction is if you have a sense that when you walk, number one, your legs should really be extending behind you. So sometimes people will keep their steps shorter. That's a sign that the hips are really tight. Also, when feet are turned out a lot, we're not really using the full hip extension. So this is great for people whose feet turn out. With any of these routines, it is super important that you don't do any exercise that increases any pain for you. The routines are designed to be done in order from beginning to end, but absolutely skip an exercise if you feel like you cannot achieve it safely or if it is causing a pain. Okay. First up is static back with knee pillow squeezes. So when we do what's called static back, it's a 90-90 position with your legs up on something and you're lying on your back. So this could be a chair turned sideways, or this is a block that is typically used in posture therapy. And you could use a garage container, something else, and then you can put pillows or folded blankets on top to make it more comfortable. So we get into this position and lie on your back. And the idea is to be 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here. And if not, then you would use something like this to make it nice and even and put your legs on that. Now, I'm okay without that. Now, the other modification I have here is a little folded towel, a hand towel. This is, again, if you find that you're reaching back with your head like this or you can't lie down, then I would modify with a towel. It is more ideal to have no towel, so if you are able to do this, then I suggest that's the best way. But also respect your body, and if you do find you're doing this, then modify. These exercises are really about doing what's best for your body. Now we're staying in this position for 3 minutes first. So we have our arms out to the side, they're 45 degrees away from the body, palms up. This is where gravity is acting down on the body. It's going to help even some muscles out in the pelvis and hips. Same thing across the chest, and especially from that rounded position, that's going to help. And even just opening up our shoulders helps with the rounding shoulder position. So we stay here for 3 minutes, and then we add in, this is a block that is typically used for this type of posture therapy. So you put it between your knees. Now this could be a small pillow from the couch, it could be a yoga block, a little ball. You have different options. And then we're going to do 3 sets of 10 of squeezing and releasing. Now you want to only be using your inner thighs to squeeze, not your glutes, not your abs. So you are just going to squeeze a second or two and then release, squeeze and release. And again, 3 sets of 10 of these. You'll take a tiny break in between the 10. This is going to not only allow everything to even out, but then we're trying to even out the muscles of our inner thighs that aren't necessarily working evenly, and also it retrains them to be more of a stabilizing muscle, because sometimes they're working all the time because of the position of our body. And so this kind of turn on, turn off of the muscles with the squeezes helps retrain the muscles. So that is what we're doing for this exercise, just letting things level out, and we'll move on. Okay, next up is hook lying rocking chair. So hook lying position is lying on your back with your knees bent, feet on the floor, and the feet are nice and parallel and even, okay? If you can't see and you can't figure that out, put your feet together, walk your heels out a little bit, and then walk your feet out to match one time, and that will help with your positioning. So you put your arms out to the side, palms up, and if you find your head tipping back, as with the prior exercise, you can again keep your folded towel under your head, and maybe as the routine goes with anything that's lying on the back, you may be able to reduce the use of the towel. So you are going to put the block between your knees. And again, this is a posture therapy type block. This could be a small pillow, a yoga block, or a small ball. And then the work is going to be with the feet, where you're going to raise up your heels and then raise up your toes. So that counts as 1. And we're going to do 3 sets of 10, and you're back and forth. So you want to be very even with your foot and make sure you're lifting up all the toes evenly and the heel, and putting some nice pressure through your big toe all the way across to your little toe. And this is about getting some ankle and foot function, which in many cases, if people are stiff up in their hips, they're actually stiff in their ankles as well. So this kind of goes through that. This is also creating a natural spinal curve motion by being in this position. Gently holding on to the block is creating more evenness through our muscles that are around our pelvis and into our legs. So this would be 3 sets of 10, rocking chair back and forth, heels up and toes up, nice and even. Next up is called hip lift. This exercise is actually a more demanding exercise. However, I'm going to show you some modifications. That way, if you need to ease your way into using this exercise. But this is a wonderful exercise for repositioning your hips, but also getting your front of your hip flexors, to begin working again if they have been shut down by the positions we put ourselves in with lots of sitting. So this is involving the modification, the wall. So let me actually start off back a little bit. Without the wall, you would start off with your feet nice and parallel and even, okay? Then arms out to the side, palms up, 45 degrees away. Cross one leg over like a 4, and then you're going to draw your legs up like this, and shin parallel to the ground. So I did modify that. It's a little hard to be aware of that, but do the best that you can, and you would hold this for a minute. And now, the more that you do this, the easier this will get, but it's definitely, if you haven't done it, it might be hard to even do 10 seconds. So that is, I'm just gonna demonstrate this side, then I'm gonna go, we would be switching, rechecking our feet, making sure they're aligned, and lifting and putting the other one up to switch. Now you cross, and then you lift, and again, try to lower, typically your leg might go up a little higher, so bring it back down a little bit, unless you feel like you're bent down, then you would wanna raise it. And again, I'd be holding this a minute. If you cannot do this, you could start again with your legs on the wall. That was the modification that I was showing, is that you get at 90-90 and you can draw from there. And that way, if you're struggling, you can put your foot down and go to the other side and try and build up to the time with this exercise. Next up is pelvic tilts. Again, we're back in this hook lying positions, arms are out to the side, palms up. Again, that's about 45 degrees away. The motion is going to be happening at your pelvis. Again, I'm being mindful, are my feet parallel and even, and nice, keeping everything in alignment. So I'm going to rock my pelvis back, and then I'm going to tilt it forward. And you do this 10 times. Now, in my office, I will see people with different types of posture will struggle with this in either direction. Some people may find it no problem, very easy, but depending on where your pelvis sits, one direction or the other may be easier. So take a little second in the direction that you feel like you can't quite go, and try to spend an extra few seconds there to try and help your body achieve that position. This is very important. The function of our pelvis, especially for walking, just so many things we do. And so when we stand upright, if the position of the pelvis isn't good, then we're not loading through our hips evenly as they should be. So that affects the joint. Next up is foot circles and point flexes. So you're going to lie on your back for this one. Again, as needed, you'll put the towel, if your head is tipping, under your head and modify as needed. You're lying on your back. You're going to draw one leg into your chest, put your hands underneath your knee. The down leg's job is to keep the kneecap to the ceiling and to not roll out. It really doesn't matter what that foot's doing. It's more about not letting that leg roll out to the side. Then the main foot that's working is the one that's on the bent knee side. We're going to do outward circles. You're going to do 20 times in each of the 3 directions. And the 3 directions are going to be outward, inward, and then point flex. And this exercise, I'm going to go ahead and start going in now. I'm doing an estimate on my count as I can share some tips with you about this exercise. This exercise sort of encompasses the whole body because we're working on the hip flexor on this bent hip. We are working on the ankle foot function on the leg up in the air. I'm going to go ahead into my point flexes now. And then the down leg is working more on the stabilizing side of things that happens every time we take a step and we bring one leg through, the other one has to stabilize. So this is kind of letting the body stretch out and working on the stabilizing muscles. And of course, we're getting some gravity working on our upper body. So overall, this is a great exercise for the body as a whole. Put the leg down, switch sides. I'm going to now make sure that this kneecap is towards the ceiling, being mindful it's not rolling out. I'm going to put my hands under my knee and then I'm going to begin the outward circles. Again, it's going to be 20 in each direction, and you're really trying to move the whole foot and the toes as much as possible. This will cause some definite burning in your shin, especially if you really aren't using all the muscles in your foot and ankle as we should. Just with the nature of so much sitting in our day, it just changes how the muscles are working. And that is what posture therapy is all about, is getting more balance and alignment so that your body can be pain-free and you can keep the joints in your body. I'm going to go to point flex because so many people are having different surgeries, and that's the idea, is to prevent having to use medications, prevent having to do surgeries. And if you already needed some of that, that's okay, but you can prevent further problems, because if you just surgically fix something, I'm going to go ahead and finish here. If you just surgically fix one area, whether it's your shoulder, the hip, the knee, and you haven't fixed your alignment, then it's very likely that another joint is going to break down and cause you symptoms and pain. So that is why doing alignment is so beneficial for everyone. Okay, so next up is floor block. So now we're going to be working from the upper body to try and help balance out the body. So we're going to be using the arm or the humerus and the scapulas, the shoulder blades, to help create more symmetry between the muscles in the spine and your torso, your upper body area. So to do this, you need somewhere to lie down. You're going to need these could be 2 matching shoe boxes or 2 stacks of towels nicely folded, even 2 yoga blocks. This height is about 5 inches, and so this height could be between like 4 to 6 inches. Now, if you're having shoulder issues, modify this, lower it down to the floor. You might need to skip it if you have a significant shoulder symptom. Now, in terms of lying down, I have just a towel laid out flat, and the idea is to put yourself face down. If you find you're struggling to do this, then to breathe, you can roll the towel and give yourself something for your forehead. Now, if you can, you will get more work in the head position by having nothing. But I believe doing an exercise, even with modification, is way more beneficial than not doing it at all. So our hand position that we're going to need to use is called the golfer's grip. So we bend at the first knuckle and the thumbs are pointed out. So that's how my hands are going to be when I'm lying down. I'm actually going to do 3 positions. My arms are going to be straight ahead like that when I'm lying on my stomach, and then my arms are going to be about 45 degrees open, and then I'm going to be with my arms straight out to the side. So I will be demonstrating that. And the other thing is my legs in the back are going to be kind of toes together, pigeon-toed, and then just relax the legs. So this sort of lets the pelvis even out by doing that position. So this is just a great exercise to align the body. So I'm gonna lie down on my stomach, face down, arms out, and this is aligned about mid forearm. My elbow is not resting on there. And then I'm going to golfer's grip and thumbs are pointing up. Now the rotation outward comes up from the shoulders. So it's not like you're trying to force the hands or the elbows, you're just trying to get some rotation outward through your shoulders. Again, you may not be able to do that initially, and you're holding each position for 1 minute. And again, 1 minute is the starting point, but if you need to start at 30 seconds, then go ahead and do that. So this would be, and my toes are together, my legs are relaxed in the back, and so I would do 1 minute, and then I'm going to separate the blocks, going to reposition, golfer's grip, thumbs up, rotate out as I can through my shoulders. Make sure you're relaxing and breathing here. This really opens up some of the chest muscles, especially with some added breathing. And I am going to, again, this would be holding for 1 minute, and then we're going to go to the 3rd position. I'm going to do the golfer's grip. Now again, this is a lot of rotation, this last one, through the shoulders. If you can't, you might have to have your hands pointed forward, but this is the goal as you work through this. And again, this will help balance out the sides. It will help the spine sit more evenly. And I hold it for 1 minute. Feet are in the same position. I'm going to do a quick turnaround and just show you what the feet will look like from the back end. So the toes will be together, relaxed like that. Heels out. Next up is called active wishbone, kind of like what it sounds like when we think of a chicken bone and pulling something apart. So I'm going to demonstrate this in a couple different directions so that you can see it from different positions. Of course, be mindful about anything that causes pain. Again, you may be tighter with this exercise. Okay. I'm going to lie on my stomach and put my arms underneath my forehead. And then I'm going to bend my knees up and I'm going to flex my feet down. So some activation through the feet, and then I'm going to draw my knees together and I'm going to open my feet to the side. So this is where it's like the wishbone, and this is going to be 3 sets of 10. After each 10, if you want to, you can bring your legs back down, give them a rest, and then bend again, reset, flex your feet down, and open and close. Whenever you reset, it's just helping make sure you're using the best alignment with each exercise. So, just to demonstrate this from the other angle, I will bend my knees, flex my feet, knees together, and then I'm gonna open and close. And again, this is 3 sets of 10. Okay. Next up is kneeling counter stretch. So you will need either, this is like a posture therapy block, or a chair, or an ottoman, some type of container block. You could put pillows or blankets on it to make it softer. You may want to fold a yoga mat or something under your knees because you are going to be kneeling, so if you need to modify. So you're going to face the surface and get into kneeling. You walk your knees back and your arms are straight, and we're trying to be as much as possible hips and knees over, and we're trying to put a little bit of a roll forward with our hips. And you can relax your head, but be mindful of your neck. If you need to modify that by holding it up a little bit in neutral, that's fine, or you can let it drop. So this is evening out the spine, the muscles on the back, helps with the shoulder position. And this is a great place for breathing through the sides. Again, taking nice inhales and putting air through the sides of your body. Now, if you need to modify this one, again, shoulder issues, you could bend and sort of rest your head if needed. You still will get some of the changes needed through the spine without as much tension on the shoulders. Again, you can see this is about hip stiffness, but we are working sort of head to toe to really get the whole body moving better, and that way when you stand up, you're stacking and aligning your joints better on top of each other. Next up on the list is gravity drop. This is the last of this routine. To do this exercise, it is best to put sneakers on to have some support under your feet, and you need a possible piece of equipment. So you either need stairs in your house with the lowest step, or a step. Like this is an individual step stool. You can use a step stool that unfolds. In all this, I'm going to be holding on to this door jamb right here. There might be a locked door that you can hold on to, something that you can put your arms out and really relax your shoulder blade. So as you see me do it, you'll understand a little bit more. That's why, again, if you have stairs, it might work really well. Bottom step.